whether you're giving a friend a one big announcement, I'm writing up, we have also free episodes and preview. Sign up, really awesome to this field. In August, we'll be getting 3 new patrons this week. Half me. You guys on Facebook and Twitter pretty regularly because we do new events basically every day, every week. So come talk to me, come say hi. I'm on most every voice chat. I also do some live streaming. I made a Minecraft server last week so I could play some games with you guys. This week we're gonna play, I think, SCP Secret Laboratories. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. Come join us. And now, this week's episode.
Warning. The Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized access will result in detainment. Within this archive, you'll find the procedures, descriptions, and accounts of the most notorious anomalies we've encountered to date. Secure, contain, protect.
Item number, SCP-2951. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. Access to the Lemon Quarry is prohibited to unauthorized personnel, and Foundation personnel posing as local law enforcement are to maintain a perimeter around the site. Individuals who breach the perimeter are to be administered a suitable amnestic and turned over to local authorities. Exploratory missions in SCP-2951 are currently forbidden. Description: SCP-2951 is an abandoned limestone mine near Guthrie, Indiana. The mine was originally owned by the B.G. Hoadley Mining Group until an incident that occurred in 1944. The remote location of the quarry, as well as the deteriorated nature of its structure, have limited civilian trespassing. Due to this, the area is mostly undisturbed. The interior of SCP-2951 is subject to irregular spatial and temporal anomalies. Exploratory teams have also reported the existence of unknown anomalous entities within SCP-2951. These entities are likely connected to the 1944 incident. The primary entrance of SCP-2951 collapsed during the 1944 incident and is inaccessible. A secondary shaft, located in a dilapidated storage building, remains accessible. Addendum 2951.1 1944 Incident and Collapse. Note: the following information was gathered from the personal office of J. Howard Barnes, a Curvier administrator and Global Occult Coalition informant. After his death, the Foundation seized many of his assets, including the information regarding the 1944 Lemon Quarry collapse, which was thought to have been destroyed. On August 23, 1944, seismic activity below the Lemon Quarry prompted quarry supervisors to send an exploratory team into the limestone mine to assess damages to structures therein. After 3 hours, the initial team returned to report that an important access tunnel had collapsed. After some deliberation, quarry supervisors assembled a larger team of workers to clear the debris. The workers descended to the collapse point and began to move the fallen stone out of the way in order to bring in larger machinery. However, during this attempt, additional seismic activity occurred, triggering a tunnel collapse behind the crew clearing the access tunnel. For the next several hours, teams worked on both sides of the blockage to remove the debris and free the clearing crew. At approximately 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the blockage was removed and the initial clearing crew emerged from the mine. This crew reported the primary access tunnel remained blocked, but a new tunnel, one that had not been cut by the mining group and was not charted, had been opened by the second round of seismic activity. Another small team was dispatched to gather information about this tunnel. The second tunnel was described as cut smooth, though not unnaturally so, and descended towards the northwest at a slight decline. Supervisors for the group hypothesized this was an original access tunnel, potentially one that had been cut near the mine's conception, before it was purchased by B.G. Hoadley, and simply not properly recorded. Hoping that this access tunnel would connect around to the primary block tunnel, quarry supervisors gathered another team of 23 men. Their assignment was to use the secondary tunnel to access the rear of the blockage, assess the structure there, and determine whether the use of explosives was justified to clear the tunnel. After this team was sent into the mine, very little else of note is recorded. Sometime afterwards, there was a third round of seismic activity, severe enough to collapse the entrance tunnel to the mine. Over the course of the next 3 days, teams above ground worked to remove the rubble covering the entrance, while supervisors and additional workers attempted to contact the team through a telephone cable line run down the secondary access shaft in the maintenance building. On the evening of the third day, just as B.G. Hoadley administrators were preparing to request assistance from other nearby mining groups, an an unknown individual emerged from the secondary shaft. The only note made of this event was the following: a telegraph wire to BG Holy offices in Louisville. 26/8/1944. Mine abandoned. Stop. Tunnels remain collapsed. Stop. 23 lost. Stop. One of them came up the shaft. Stop. We tossed it back down. Stop. Wasn't right. Stop. GPE. Stop. Addendum 2951.2, 1998 incident.
On June 4th, 1998, low-level seismic activity was detected south of Site 81. A team of Foundation geologists were dispatched to gather more information relating to the event, but were unable to pinpoint the exact location of the disturbance. Anticipating aftershocks, several seismographs were installed in the neighboring towns. On June 16th, a missing person report was filed with local police for Tevin Napier, a 15-year-old student who had disappeared after he and his friends had been trespassing in the abandoned lemon quarry. Teams searched for the quarry for any signs of Napier, eventually discovering the now unsealed secondary access shaft beneath the dilapidated maintenance building within the quarry. A search and rescue team was lowered into the shaft, expecting to recover Napier's body. However, initial attempts were unsuccessful due to the sheer depth of the shaft, and teams had to be recalled until longer safety equipment could be obtained. At the time, no records of the depth of the shaft were available, and crews were unaware of the original recorded depth of 120 meters. This was disparate from the estimated depth of the shaft by rescue crews, who estimated a depth of approximately 240 meters. When rescue crews eventually descended the full length of the access shaft, there was no evidence of Napier's body. However, crews quickly reported agitation and a feeling of doubt about their perception of the mine around them. During the expedition, the 5-man rescue team occasionally reported there being 7 or 8 members of the team, and one member reported that they were in the mine looking for gold. After 43 minutes within the mine, the team stopped responding to radio communications. Above-ground teams quickly began to retract their tether, and found that more tether was being retracted than had gone into the mine. After retracting 400 meters of tether, the winch was no longer able to do so and was stopped. At this point, Foundation crews were alerted to the possibility of anomalous activity at the lemon quarry, and took control of the rescue efforts under the guise of a federal search and rescue team. Using a more powerful winch system, Foundation personnel were able to retrieve 2 of the 5 men, both of whom were still connected to their tethers. The first man, Abel Parker, became increasingly agitated and violent above ground, convinced he was still within the mine. The second man, Greg Hamilton, was initially thought to be comatose, but began speaking unintelligibly after 20 minutes above ground. However, the initial rescue team confirmed that the voice Hamilton was speaking with was not his own, but the voice of Jeremy Livingston, another one of the men in the mine. Both men were sedated and moved to Site 81 for analysis. Of the other 3 tethers, 2 returned with clean cuts at their end. The third appeared to have been cut with a jagged piece of rock, and was covered in human blood for 13 meters. After recovering Parker and Hamilton, Foundation personnel quickly moved to administer amnestics to all involved non-Foundation personnel, as well as develop a cover story for the events which occurred within the mine. Site 81 requisitioned an immediate classification for the mine as SCP-2951, which was granted by the Classification Committee on the 18th of June. Hey everyone, it's Pacific again, just here for a quick ad break. Awesome, thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show uninterrupted.
Addendum 2951.3, Exploration Log. Note: following the events of June 16, 1998, Mobile Task Force Trotter 5, Hell's Heroes, was assigned the further analysis of SCP-2951. Their assigned goal was to assess the anomalous nature of SCP-2951, as well as search for the additional 3 lost search and rescue crew members and Tevin Napier, who was still missing. The 4-man team was to enter SCP-2951 through the secondary access shaft, It's been no longer than 40 minutes within the mine.
One, mics are on.
4, on.
2, check.
Yeah, 3 on here.
All right, let's head down. Be careful right here. Don't put your foot on that. It's loose.
Hey, you guys aren't gonna let us loose on our way down, are you? Your paperwork to file, I mean.
Come on, Kevin, for fuck's sake.
All right.
T5 team descends shaft. Carson T5-4 notes depth as they descend. Upon reaching 120 meters, Jenna T5-1 stops.
What's wrong?
This is it. What's our depth?
120 meters.
That ain't right. Those stake guys said this was more than 200 meters deep.
Maybe there's a jog? Just around that bend over there. Maybe descend some more.
You'd think we'd see some hooks around here, though, right? From the last guys?
No, nothing like that. Footprints, though, so this is definitely where they were.
Turn on your lamps. Let's see what's around the corner here.
Team detaches from tethers. Moves a corner away from shaft.
Davies, did you start our clock?
I did, back when we first hit dirt.
Good to hear. Let me know every 10 minutes.
Yep.
Cap, over here. Something on the wall.
Tether lines from where they were rubbing up against a rock. How many are there?
Just 2.
That's weird.
Get some pictures and let's keep going. We don't have a lot of time.
Team descends lower into the mine. Extraneous dialogue removed from log.
10 minutes.
Huh?
What?
Feels like it's been longer than that.
Clock is working fine. Batteries are all juiced up and everything.
Just imagining it.
Man, it gets real tight up there. This is an access shaft?
Yeah, supposed to connect with the rest of the mine, but it's just an emergency exit. We'll have more room to breathe once we reconnect.
We're going to need to go single file.
I'll take the head. File in.
Team begins to move single file through a section of tunnel. Significant time passes. A little discussion is had between team members.
Where are we at on the clock?
17 minutes.
That definitely isn't right.
Is this a temporal anomaly?
By the looks of it. You guys see that?
What?
Light?
Bet that's the rest of the mine. Not much further to go now.
I hear something.
Probably just me.
No, it's below us. Deep.
Might be some more seismic activity.
That definitely isn't right.
Let's get out of this hole then. A cave in here and we're toast.
Team moves quickly towards the light in front of them. Passageway begins to open slightly.
Why would there be light down here?
Maybe the other rescuers? They had lamps, I think.
Yeah, but it's been a few days. They can't be rated for that long. Where are we on that clock? 17 minutes.
Fuck.
This isn't right.
How much further?
Nope, it's below us. Deep.
Yeah, maybe another 20 meters?
Move your asses, boys. I feel funny.
You're gonna throw up. Keep it back.
Shut up, man.
Where are we at?
10 meters.
It's like we're getting pinned in.
How much further?
Fuck!
Where are the lights?
Fuck!
Hang on, my lamp is out too.
Something is moving.
It's below us. Deep.
Can you all calm the fuck down for 5 seconds?
Can't see in the dark, Cap.
I've got a lighter. Alright, this tunnel is blocked.
Might be from the seismic activity.
No, it's settled. This has been here a while.
This tunnel, though...
No, it's...
this looks pretty clean cut. What do you see down that way?
Not much. It just keeps going down.
I smell something. Ozone.
Yeah, me too. What's our clock at?
Hey, something's written on the wall here. Can't make it out.
13 minutes.
We've been down here too long already.
Too long.
Wanna head back?
I'm thinking we need more equipment, maybe more...
Too long. I'm fine with that. I don't want to go down there yet.
I'll go first this time. Everybody squeeze in.
Too long in the fire.
Let's go.
Time passes. Extraneous dialogue removed.
Thank God. I can see again.
There's the access shaft.
Hang on, did you say something?
No.
Oh shit, what are you?
There were only 4 of us, right? There were only 4 of us, right?
Jesus fucking.
There were only 4.
Too long in the fire!
Too long.
Shoot the goddamn gun, Daniel. I don't care who it sounds like.
Too long. We've been down here too long already.
Who the fuck?
They're wearing their uniforms. How?
That one is smoking. It's on fire.
Stand back.
What's it saying?
Get the fuck down.
All recording devices cease function. Note: following these events, MT-FT5 was removed from the access shaft and given a physical and psychological evaluation. T5-1, -3, and -4 suffer minor lacerations and burn as a result of the explosion. And T5-2 is removed to Site 81 for his injuries. The 3 unidentified individuals who attacked members of MT-FT5 all wore the exact same uniforms and equipment as the other members of the unit, and were confirmed to have exactly mimicked the voices of other team members. This, combined with the low lighting and tight quarters, is believed to have contributed to the team members' inability to distinguish exactly how many individuals were with them at the time. Psychological evaluation audio transcript.
In our analysis of the audio files, we noticed that several times your teammates made note of the anomalous passage of time. Can you confirm this?
Yeah, I can. I've been in similar situations, temporal dilations and stuff like that. You start to lose track of time, even when you know a bit of time is passing by. I don't know how long we were down there, but I think maybe 4 hours?
Your recorders were active for 5 hours and 33 minutes, Agent.
Time I'm not gonna get back, yeah. How long were we down there up here?
19 minutes.
Jesus Christ, I take that back then. I haven't ever been in anything like that.
Did you feel any adverse effects mentally from the time dilation?
Sort of. It's like soup, I think, when you're in one of those. Your mind starts to feel kind of thick, right? Things happen and they're not really clear. You can't recall exactly when they happened, even if they just did. Stuff like that. It's disorienting.
I see. Did you at any point notice the 3 individuals we recovered before you reached the access shaft?
Recover is a strong word.
Their remains, I mean.
I still don't get how they got that stuff. They had the name badges and everything, just with the identification squashed off. It's real strange. Notice them? No. In the dark, you know, it was just single file. I was looking at Daniel. I mean, I thought I was. But the acoustics were real bad too. Couldn't tell where the sound was coming from. Kept hearing him behind me. I guess I was. I don't know. It's like I said, you know things are happening around you and you react to them, but they all just feel wrong.
I see.
They never found that kid, did they? He never came out later?
No.
Ah, shit. What about Davies? Armin, come on, you know.
He still hasn't said anything, Kevin. Opened his mouth a few times, but nothing's come out. Doesn't even look at you.
God damn it.
Do you want an amnestic? I can have something ordered for you, or...
Nah. If I'm still dreaming about that thing screaming at me with my own voice in a month, I'll let you order it.
All right, then. Sounds like a good plan. Good luck.
Addendum 2951.4. Interview with Gorman P. Ellis. Following the events recorded in Addendum 2951.3, Foundation research personnel began to collect data about the Lemon Quarry and the mine there. This proved to be difficult, as the original BG Holding Company had folded nearly 40 years prior, and all company records were presumed destroyed. Additionally, the potentially anomalous nature of Curvia International made accessing the records difficult. However, a recovered contact list within an abandoned BG Holding office in nearby Bedford allowed Foundation investigators to contact Mr. Gorman P. Ellis, an elderly and retired BG Holding investigator. Mr. Ellis was cooperative when contacted. We met with Foundation investigators. It was during this interview that Foundation personnel were alerted to the information held by Curvier Administrator J. Howard Barnes, which was later collected and assessed as part of the investigation. The following is audio transcript of an interview conducted by Agent Young with Mr. Ellis.
We appreciate you meeting with us, Mr. Ellis. We promise we won't take much of your time.
That's fine, that's fine.
What can you tell us about your time at B.G. Hoadley?
Well, I hired in as a day laborer, just like my father had. He was a foreman with the company when I was a boy. So was my uncle, James Ellis. My uncle was an associate of Mr. Hoadley, Mr. Hedgewater. Both big limestone men back in the 30s and 40s. I worked for Hedgewater for a while, at United Limestone, and transferred to Hoadley just before my father retired as a foreman myself.
Which sites were you assigned to during your time with the company?
Well, let's see. There was the Springville site up north and another near Orleans off 37. Worked both of them for a fair few years. Then we opened up the big site west of Mitchell, and I was there until I retired.
Do you know anything about the Lemon site in Guthrie?
I suppose I do.
Did you ever work there?
No, can't say I did. That was, Ron Pitts, I think. Just an acquaintance, not somebody I knew all that well.
Do you know...
Actually, now that you mention it, I did spend some time at Lemon. Just hard to remember. I went with a team of boys to clean up after they shut it down. There was an earthquake, see. Collapsed some of the tunnels. Said it wasn't geologically sound.
Something wrong?
I always thought that was a bit weird. We don't get earthquakes around here. All that limestone, you know, dampens the shakes from down south or somewhere else.
Did they tell you anything else about that mine?
Oh, it was such a long time ago now. We just had to move some machinery, load it onto trucks and move it down south. I don't think I ever spoke to any of the foremen there. They were mostly outside men at that point anyway, just using Hoadley equipment.
I see. What about the collapse? Were there ever any casualties?
I think they lost a few boys, but I can't say for sure. That would happen then, you know. Weren't as careful as they are now, I reckon. Even so, it wasn't something that was talked about much.
Our records indicate that B.G. Hoadley sold that mine to Curvier shortly after the collapse. Is there any reason you can think of why they'd do that?
No, can't say why. United had bought a few, but usually part of some deal to open up another mine. Curvier wasn't from around here. They were out of state. Not real common for a group like that to buy up a mine, especially one as small as Lemon.
I see. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Ellis?
See if you can get hold of a gentleman named, let me think. Was it Jim? Jeff? Anyway, Barnes was his name. He was a bit older than me, so he might have passed away by now, but he was involved in that cleanup. I think he was Hedgewater's contact with Curvier when I worked for them, and I spoke to him a few times. Decent enough fellow. He might be able to tell you a little more.
Thank you, sir.
You know, I've been thinking. There was something else about that cleanup that seemed so peculiar. We came in with about a dozen guys to get those machines loaded up, but there were another dozen or so there from Curvier who were cleaning up their stuff, and maybe 5 or 6 more Hoadley men doing the same. Quietest job we've ever worked. I don't know if a single one of them said anything to us the entire time we were there.
Addendum 2951.5. Collected personal correspondence from J. Howard Barnes.
Jeremiah, I don't know if you've heard yet, but there was an incident at the Guthrie mine. A cave-in triggered by some earthquake. There are 20 or so boys trapped down in there. They're trying to get a team to move the rubble, but it's not going well. Thought you should know, in case you need to call the lawyers. I'll try to call out of the office tomorrow. Best, Trent. Jeremiah, a bunch of suits showed up today asking about the cave-in. We don't know if they're lawyers or what, but they kept asking real weird questions. Wanted to listen to the rocks and stuff at the cave-in, like they were trying to hear something. You know anything about this? Nate Wabash. Mr. Barnes, our organization has recently purchased the rights to the Guthrie Lemon Quarry and are interested in any information you might have about it. A representative of ours will be in your area within the next week and would love to speak with you about it, as well as about our opportunities within our organization you may be interested in. Yours truly, David P. Whittinger, Curvier International. I saw it myself, Jeremiah. I saw something that was like a man crawl out of that hole. It smoked and burned and cried out in another's voice. It was a thing pulled straight from the pit itself, I have no doubt. That man from Geist said as much himself, that the pillars that support the world will crack and crumble, and the foundation will become loose. What lies below will become accessible, and its might will fall upon the meek. I saw it with my own eyes. I know it is true. I still hear its words, Jeremiah. 10,000 years. Screaming like a wild dog, shrieking like it was cornered. 10,000 years in the fire.
Addendum 2951.6. Collected correspondence from Gorman P. Ellis. On April 19, 2003, the aforementioned Mr. Gorman P. Ellis passed away. Due to his person of interest status, Foundation personnel moved to seize his assets for further analysis. The following is a letter believed to have been penned by Mr. Ellis to an unknown recipient concerning SCP-2951.
It was 23 in total. 23 of those poor boys got stuck behind that wall. We could hear them for days shouting behind those rocks while we sat around on our asses and did nothing. Have you ever been down in a mine during a blackout, Kim? Let me tell you about it. First, there is a moment of panic when everybody scrambles to figure out what's going on. Then, as things calm down, you try to get your eyes adjusted to the dark around you. But you never get adjusted, because there's nothing to see. It's not like dark at night, where you can see stars and the moon or a street light. There is no light in a mine during a blackout. There's nothing to see down there. Then you start to hear things. Some boys will hear voices, or animals, or any number of things that just aren't there. Some will wander off and get lost. They won't follow the ropes back up. Some will fall in a shaft or into a crevice and you'll never see them again. Then, it gets real quiet. I got to see that tunnel they found before the cave-in. Very strange, Kim. Didn't look dug by tools. Not proper. Didn't even have time to string up lights in it to see where it went. I don't know what's down there. Anyway, all I'm saying is, I haven't thought much about hell, but I sure think we deserve it. Whatever happens to those boys, as long as they're down there, is our fault. It's our fault for doing nothing. And the dark changes people.
SCP-2951 was written by DJ Cactus. Our host and narrator was John Grills. Agent Young was played by Atticus Jackson. Jenna, T1, was played by Nicole Goodnight. Davies, T2, was played by Pacific S. Obadiah. Kevin, T3, was played by Russell Moore. Carson, T4, was played by Jesse Hall. Carson, T5, was played by James Oliva. Davies, T6, was played by Pacific S. Obadiah. Kevin, T7, was played by Fletcher Armstrong. Mr. Ellis was played by Karim Cronfy. and Dr. Rostetler was played by Tanya Melio. Our music is composed by the incredible Tom Rory Parsons, and I'm your showrunner and sound designer, Pacific S. Obadiah. Our producer is Tom Owen, and this is a Bloody Disgusting show. For more information, visit bloody-disgusting.com. I'm excited to announce a new way for you to support the SCP Archives. We've partnered with ACAST to allow fans to make a one-time donation of any amount. And when you donate, you can also leave us a message, and we'll read it on air for you. So whether you're giving a friend a happy birthday shout-out, or just want to say hi, you can find a link to donate in our show notes right now. Hey everyone, it's Pacific. Another week, another few new announcements, and lots of stuff to talk about. 3 things today. First, postcards. Second, more community nights this week. And third, patrons, you guys, of course. So, starting off, a while ago I mentioned we're doing postcards a little differently for Season 2, and now that is important and relevant. If you are a patron anytime between April 1st and April 30th, whether you're new or continuing, and if you're $5 or above, you will get a postcard. So, for this month only, if you want the first postcard of SCP Archives Season 2, make sure you sign up. You can discontinue it in May if you'd like. You have to be a patron for this month. So if you're kind of interested in testing the waters, maybe getting access to some ad-free and bonus episodes, check it out. You can find us at patreon.com/SCP_POD. Now, there's a few things to know. First, in a few days, I'll be putting up some of the designs. I think 2 or 3 designs for everyone to vote on. I've been working on these for quite some time, and I'm very excited to share them with you. Even if you're not a patron, I think only patrons or people with Patreon accounts can vote. But the post will be public, so anyone can see it and check it out and kind of see which design is in the lead. Of course, make sure your addresses are up to date. Please do this. I don't want to send postcards to the wrong place. It sucks for everyone involved. If you already have your address in Patreon and you haven't moved recently, you're good. You're fine. If you're worried, you can always message me, and I'd be glad to double check. If you don't, you'll actually get a nice email on April 1st reminding you to add an address. Of course, you don't have to if you don't want a postcard, but, I wouldn't want anyone to miss out if they did. And now, moving on to community nights. For the last 2 weeks, me and the crew have been very busy trying to, chat with you guys and keep you entertained. I think everyone's going a little stir-crazy in quarantine. I know I am. To break that up, we're doing more events. These are generally Discord voice chats where me or Jesse or TSAT will hop in and chat with you guys, and you can ask us about, what was our favorite episode, or we can talk about how Redstone in Minecraft works, which actually brings me to the second thing. In Season 1, we did some game nights. I'm going to try those out again this week. We're going to open up a little Minecraft server, so if you're interested in joining and playing with fans and friends and us, come by. And of course, we've been doing some live streams of games, and also me designing logos and our mascot Skipper, which I'm still hard at work at. So yeah, if you're interested in any of those things, You can find the full schedule on Facebook and Twitter, and on our Patreon. Again, that's a public post that anyone can see. And for all of that, of course, patreon.com/scp_pod. You don't have to be a patron to join these things. These are open for everyone. We do really want everyone to be able to, talk to us and say hi. We like it when you say hi. And third, and certainly not least, this week's patrons. I want to give a big shout out to Oh Shit, a Bear, AJ Chaver, Pixeled Donut, Morgan Lee Brown, Josh Greenlee, Daniel W., TJ Murphy, Kyran Jones, I Hate You Sweet Pickles, Joseph Cochran, Row Gamer 266, and Charlie Hooglin. Thanks, guys. Your support means the world, and you help us do what we do. Without further ado, this week's episode, I think you'll find it quite appealing. Because it's about bananas.
That was bad. Shut up.
I was going to try and throw in another banana pun, but
No.
maybe I'll throw one in at the end. Well.
Warning. The Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized access will result in detainment. Within this archive, you'll find the procedures, descriptions, and accounts of the most notorious anomalies we've encountered to date. Secure, contain, protect.
Item number SCP-4823. Containment class. Safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-4823 is to be kept in a standard containment chamber at Site-77. In case of entry from U-3567, an armed guard is to be positioned in the room at all times. In order to maintain diplomatic relations, Foundation diplomats are scheduled to visit U-3567 once a month. Due to effects that ionizing radiation has on the human body, Foundation personnel are to consume pills containing potassium iodine daily while remaining in U-3567. And individuals who have returned from U-3567 cannot enter again until at least 3 months have passed. Edited as of 2012-2019. Diplomatic relations have been halted. No contact with U-3567 is to be made. Responding to attempts at contact from U-3567 may be allowed if and when such a situation arises. Description: SCP-4823 is a ripe specimen of Musa acuminata, more commonly known as a Cavendish banana. It is indestructible and does not suffer from normal biological degradation. It appears to be ancient, with thermoluminescence placing it as at least 20,000 years old. The main anomaly of SCP-4823 is a localized transdimensional two-way gateway in place of fruit flesh. The gateway becomes exposed when the banana is peeled, which can only be done halfway. Upon exposure, the gateway will draw the peeler in, exposing them to a noodle effect caused by a strong, non-homogeneous gravitational field, in order for them to fit through. Following entry, SCP-4823 will unpeel itself. The other end of the gateway is an identical object to U-3567. It was under control of the U-3567 version of the SCP Foundation, and located in their version of Paris, France, in the arrondissement of Butte-Montmartre. U-3567 is devoid of all animal life, instead inhabited by mobile and sentient plants, most notable of which is the species of sapient humanoid entities, collectively referred to here as SCP-4823-1, who refer to themselves as Manandans, or Musa sapiens. The external morphology of SCP-4823-1 greatly resembles humans, aside from having a substance identical to banana peel in place of skin, lacking all body hair, and having an extended cranium, similar to the shape of a baseline banana. SCP-4823-1 lack all internal organs commonly found in humans, and their flesh is identical to that of a banana. Their internal support structure more closely resembles wood than bone. Their joints and tendons are made of plant fiber, and their esophagus leads to an acid-filled vat similar to the trap of a pitcher plant. Due to the lack of animals and animal byproducts, as well as different evolutionary paths resulting in the lack of several baseline plants, many cultural and economic aspects of societies on U-3567 vary greatly from baseline reality. This includes religion, trade, and geography. Despite this, social structures are largely unaffected. Following the containment of SCP-4823, diplomatic relations with U-3567's version of the SCP Foundation were established for the purposes of sharing information and researching U-3567. However, due to the repercussions of Incident 4823-39, the state of U-3567 and its inhabitants have been affected to such an extent that diplomatic relations are no longer possible. See Addendum 4823.1. The origins of SCP-4823 and why U-3567 is connected to baseline reality through SCP-4823 is unknown. Addendum 4823.39. Incident Report 4823-39. On 5/12/2019, 5 ambassadors of Baseline Foundation entered SCP-4823 as usual. They were scheduled to stay on U-3567 for a week. On the second day, one of the representatives of U-3567 Foundation failed to show up for a scheduled meeting. Stay of the ambassadors was extended. Searches were conducted, and after 3 days, the corpse of the representative was found in a storage room, infested with fruit fly larvae. The larvae had most likely hatched from eggs that were laid by a fruit fly that accidentally came with our ambassadors, as fruit flies are not a naturally occurring species in U-3567. The corpse of the representative was promptly incinerated. However, the original breeding pair was not found. A week later, a fruit fly infestation in the storage room was discovered. The site was locked down, and extermination efforts involving pesticides and flamethrowers were enacted, but eventually proved unsuccessful, and control of the infestation was lost. U-3567 Foundation demanded that the representatives leave, and after their return to baseline, no attempted contact from U-3567 has been made. Addendum 4823.40. Incident Report 4823-40. On 3/6/2020, SCP-4823 unpeeled itself and a journal was ejected out of it. The words Valerie's Journal have been written on the cover. The following are digitized versions of select pages from the journal, translated from French.
18/12/2019. Dear Diary, I can barely hold this pen, for I am exhausted after today. Regardless, I'm happy, for I had a lot of fun. Firstly, my mother told me in the morning that Aunt Latundin is coming home for the holidays all the way from Portugal. We haven't seen her in years due to her being so busy with her herd of nectar stomachs. Then, in school, I sat next to Williams again. He has such perfect skin, it's unbelievable. I couldn't concentrate on the lesson at all, LMSO. Then, after school, me and Alil went to the Strider 4 stables, and I got to ride with my sweet girl Fargus again. Oh, and we have a new school nurse, because the previous one unfortunately died due to crown rot a few weeks ago. That disease apparently makes you lose your fingers. Absolutely horrible. Anyway, we finally got a replacement. Her name is Java, and she's originally from Northern Asia. Some of the boys in our class called her a rude name, but I think her blue skin is absolutely beautiful. I also gave self-made mittens as little gifts to the 2 guards in front of the office building near our school. I walk past the building on my way to school and back every single day, and they're always standing there no matter the weather. And it's cold this time of the year, so I decided to give them something to keep them warm. They looked very happily surprised and immediately put them on. I think I made their day. 19/12/2019. I hope you haven't been waiting all day for something exciting, dear diary of mine, because this day was pretty standard. We got a new assignment from Mr. Awok, which is kind of dumb and annoying right before Christmas like this, but whatever. I came straight home after school in order to get started on it. We're supposed to make an essay about evolution, and it turns out that our ancient ancestors were weird crescent-shaped fruits that grew from giant flowers. Evolution is weird, man. One thing of note, though. The guards in front of the building weren't there today. They're always there. I think they do something really important in that building, so I don't know why on earth they would leave the gate unattended. Oh, I almost forgot. I also got invited to a party. Faye's parents are gone for the weekend, so she's throwing a huge party. I hear Williams is coming too, so it's going to be so much fun. 20/12/2019. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to think, really. This feels pointless right now, but for some reason I still want to do it. Habit, I guess. Williams is dead. Earlier today, I heard him complain to his friends that he wasn't feeling very well. I can't believe I was hoping that he would still come to the party. And then when he did, I was super happy. I caught him alone and we started talking and we were having fun, but then his eye came off and these tiny white creatures began to slither out of his socket. He tried to say something, but then he just dropped. He was dead. I know he was. He had no expression and his eye was wide open, but he kept twitching. Oh God, the twitching and the buzzing and the dark cloud that came out of him. I ran. I just ran, and I heard screams, but I just ran, and I didn't look where, and I only realized after an hour that I was going to the wrong direction, and then I had to take a train home, and oh God, I didn't tell my parents. I just locked myself in my room. What were those things? 21/12/2019. The news are talking about the creatures. Nobody seems to know what they are or where they came from, but they're spreading. They've taken over the entire 9th arrondissement, which is why we are preparing to leave to the shelter. Helicopters have been flying over our house all day. This can't be real. 22/12/2019. I'm writing this from the shelter. There are maybe a few dozen of us here. We should have food and water for 6 months, and the solar lamp in the ceiling apparently lasts forever, so through relying on photosynthesizing as much as possible, we should be able to stretch that to a year, if necessary. There's a television here. We're watching the military trying to get rid of the creatures, or carvers, as people have started to call them. They don't seem to have a lot of success, though. At least my parents and Alil are here with me, as well as that new school nurse. We're gonna get through this together. I know we will. 30/12/2019. We're not at the shelter anymore. We're in an abandoned coffee shop. We, meaning me, Alil, and Java. Everyone else is dead. Even my parents. The carvers attacked out of nowhere, probably got in through the ventilation. Java noticed before everyone else and helped me and Alil get out before we were eaten alive like everyone else, though we didn't get out in one piece either. One of the carvers managed to plant its seeds in Alil's arm. Java had to cut off everything below the elbow using a knife from the shop. Right now she's helping her with the pain, and I'm writing this. I don't really know why. I guess it kind of calms me down. Everything is gone. The sky is darkened with countless carvers, and the streets are littered with twitching bodies filled with the offspring of those vile creatures. These things just keep spreading and eating and spreading, and nothing is slowing them down. Most of the military has retreated. There are still some copters far away trying to keep the infestation to Paris, but it's only a matter of time until they break through and devour all of France, maybe all of the world. 7/1/2020. We finally found another group of survivors. About 30 or so individuals. They were hesitant to let us join them at first, but a few of them are wounded and Java is a nurse. We really do owe our lives to her. The people here are pretty hardy and cynical, no-nonsense kind of people, but a few of them seem nice. Alil has been really depressed ever since her parents died and she lost her arm. It pains me to see her like this. She used to be so happy and bubbly. Why did all of this have to happen to us? What did we do? I've tried to keep track of the date for you, my dear diary, but I'm afraid I've lost track. I guess it doesn't really matter anyway. Our numbers are dwindling. Just today we lost 3 people because Mysore, that idiot, went into a room with a carcass in it while we were scavenging in someone's former home. That carcass had carvers in it, and of course they got excited over fresh meat and came for us instead. We had to lock the door behind Mysore, Palm, and Silk, or else they would have eaten us as well. I can still hear them screaming and pounding at the door. Elil killed herself. We couldn't find her this morning, and after searching for a while, we saw her sprawled on the sidewalk below. She had thrown herself out of a window of the apartment building we were staying in during the night. There was so much we wanted to do together. We had big plans of traveling the world, from the petrified forests of Russia to the beaches of Australia. One of her biggest dreams was getting to swim with the algae leviathans that inhabit the southern oceans. I almost murdered Crew when he said that Elil was only weighing us down with her disability. In other news, we're back at Montmartre. Home. Yay. I wonder if those guards I gave the mittens to are still alive somewhere. I doubt it. Anyway, we're scavenging in the office building they were guarding. There are bodies everywhere. Like, more than I have seen anywhere else before. It's like these people didn't even try to escape. A lot of them have guns, too. I wonder what they did in this building. This place is starting to creep me out. We stayed the night, and now we can't find the exit anymore. It's like the hallways and rooms have switched places overnight, but surely that's impossible. I did find some weird papers, though. They were in what looked like some sort of lab, and they were describing something that could have been straight out of some science fiction flick. I'm alone. The carvers came out of nowhere. It was as if they had just popped into existence. Right in the middle of the group. We were getting ready for bed, and I was a bit further away from everyone else when I started to suddenly hear screaming. I managed to get out of the door and slam it behind me before they got to me fully. I left them all to die like a coward. But it doesn't matter, for I'm not long for this world either. I'm pretty sure at least one of the carvers managed to plant its seeds in me. Fuck.
The rest of the page is unintelligible.
I know what you did. All of you. Elil, my parents, Java, Williams, and millions of others are dead because of you. That's right. I found SCP-4823, or whatever you call it, and the document that describes everything that happened. How your people came here through this and brought this plague upon us. I'll be dead soon, just like everyone else. I can already feel the seeds sprouting and the carver offspring burrowing through my flesh. For that reason, I'm not going through, for there is no hope for me anymore. Instead, I'm sending this diary through, so you would know exactly what you did to us.
Note: the journal has been stored in item locker 7128 of Site 77's non-anomalous storage wing.
Well, that episode was absolutely bananas. SCP-4823 was written by Severus. Our host and narrator was John Grills. Valerie was played by Addison Peacock. Our composer is the incredible Tom Rory Parsons. I'm your showrunner and sound designer, Pacific S. Obadiah. And our producer is Tom Owen. This is a bloody, disgusting show. For more information, visit bloody-disgusting.com. I'm excited to announce a new way for you to support the SCP Archives. We've partnered with ACAST to allow fans to make a one-time donation of any amount. And when you donate, you can also leave us a message, and we'll read it on air for you. So whether you're giving a friend a happy birthday shout-out, or just want to say hi, you can find a link to donate in our show notes right now. Hey everyone, it's Pacific. Last week I mentioned that on Discord we're hosting a lot of little community events, so you can talk to people and do some stuff while you might be stuck in quarantine. And we are continuing that this week. So if you're interested in joining our voice chats, watching our live streams, or just, talking to other cool people who like SCP and Creepy, check out our Discord. You can find a link in the show notes, or if you go to scparchives.com, you can find another link there as well. Or if you follow us on social media, I'll also have links there, as well as a full schedule. But like last week, this week we'll be hosting more voice chats, live streams, and other stuff. So yeah, please join us. Come say hi. We like it when you say hi. And last but certainly not least, this week's patrons. I want to give a big shout out to Jose Angel Vargas, Mark.png, and I'm gonna butcher this. Saice? Thank you. Thank you for supporting the show, and thank you for listening. We use Patreon to pay all of our actors, and Tom, our wonderful composer, and you are helping us keep them employed during this time of crisis, and I greatly, greatly appreciate that. So, thanks. And if you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find us at patreon.com/scp_pod. Or you can just, share the show, listen, and support us like that, because that means the world. Thanks. And now, this week's episode.
Warning. The Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized access will result in detainment. Within this archive, you'll find the procedures, descriptions, and accounts of the most notorious anomalies we've encountered to date. Secure, contain, protect.
Item number, SCP-3241. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SARC-1 is to continue developing a safe and effective containment strategy for SCP-3241. Until such a strategy exists, procedure to contain SCP-3241 will focus on mitigation, observation, and the prevention of outside contact. Personnel are to cooperate with the JMSDF-2 and other naval and aeronautic authorities to enforce a 75-kilometer exclusion zone around SCP-3241. Only Foundation-operated vessels are permitted to enter this zone. Surveillance drones are to be deployed on a weekly basis into SCP-3241 to monitor its rate of expansion. Should this rate change, SCP-3241's current containment director is to be notified immediately. The use of SARs-3 within SCP-3241's exclusion zone is strictly prohibited. Pending completion of the inquiry into the events of November 5, 2015, no personnel, Foundation or otherwise, is permitted to enter SCP-3241 without O5 approval. Description: SCP-3241 is an irregularly shaped volume, approximately 12 kilometers in diameter, centered upon the SS Summerfield, formerly SS Chavez. It exhibits numerous spatial, temporal, molecular, and biological anomalies. Although the nature and severity of these anomalies fluctuate with no discernible pattern, they do not extend beyond SCP-3241. SCP-3241 is currently expanding at a rate of approximately 4 meters per day. The SS Summerfield is a cargo ship constructed in 1963 by Sun Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company. It was purchased, refurbished, and rechristened in 1995 by DLS-4 as part of a Foundation-sponsored contract to provide a transport for low-risk anomalies and anesthetized ontokineticists from the decommissioned Site 97 and Site 82. In 1998, the ship was lost along with its crew, anomalies, and all 5 ontokineticists on board. An inquiry conducted by the Foundation in 1999 attributed this to a mid-transit containment breach followed by the failed deployment of its emergency safety system, consisting of 6 linked SRAs. In 2015, the SS Summerfield was discovered adrift 200 kilometers west of Odo Island. This led to the formation of SARC to assess the sudden emergence of SCP-3241 and develop a safe and effective containment procedure for it. In 2018, new evidence came to light regarding possible malfeasance on the part of Daniel DeVorn in DLS. A second inquiry was conducted into the events of 1998 and 2015. As a consequence of this inquiry, all current and future contracts with DLS have been suspended. Daniel DeVorn remains at large and has been designated as POI 3241-347. Addendum 3241.1, Loss of the SS Summerfield. On September 17, 1998, the SS Summerfield departed Jacksonville, Florida, USA, for Itaguaí, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. At 1721 UTC, the Coast Guard received a signal from the ship's EPIRB, emergency position indicating radio beacon, placing it near the center of the Atlantic Ocean. At 1806 UTC, the EPIRB broadcasted another signal, placing it in the vicinity of the Sakota Alien Mountain Range. At 1855 UTC, Cospasar-Sat satellites received a final transmission from the beacon. Its position could no longer be determined. All subsequent attempts to establish communication failed. Early recovery efforts were hindered by Hurricane Georges, an inability to determine the SS Summerfield's location, and DLS representatives who incorrectly insisted to Foundation officials that the vessel was not lost, but merely delayed on account of severe weather conditions. Daniel DeVorn defended this decision during the 1999 inquiry.
Her emergency beacon was sending a signal, but the coordinates were all over the place. They made no sense. We've had distress beacons misfire before, so we figured it was a malfunction. We couldn't establish radio contact to confirm on account of Hurricane Georges. But after 3 hours of nothing, we realized something was wrong. That's when I made the call. I called Jack myself. I told him something was wrong. I told him the Summerfield had gone missing.
Once the SS Summerfield was declared lost, the Foundation immediately mounted a joint search and rescue operation with the help from UNDAC, United Nations Disaster Assessment and Coordination, and GOC, Global Occult Coalition, the United States Coast Guard, Air Force, Air National Guard, and Navy. Search efforts concentrated on the ship's planned route and the 2 coordinates provided in its emergency broadcast. After an intensive 6-month-long investigation, no trace of the SS Summerfield was found. Addendum 3241.2, Initial Inquiry. During the initial 1999 inquiry, Daniel DeVorn responded to questions regarding the possibility that the disappearance of the SS Summerfield was caused by a fault in its emergency SRA system.
Look, I don't want to be rude, but that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Our SRAs have a near-flawless track record. They've seen extensive use throughout the Foundation. They're directly responsible for averting disasters every day. They save lives every single day. And we're developing better, more cost-effective SRAs every single day. What happened to the SS Sommerfeld was tragic, but had nothing to do with our emergency safety systems. What happened was... I don't want to blame your people. I'm sure their performance was exemplary. I've worked with you long enough to know that you only hire the best of the best. But I do want to point out that you consistently refuse to staff DLS technicians on site to provide immediate technical support. You wouldn't let us put any of our employees on that boat. You also have a history of... your procedures have a history of deviating from the SRA manual. The manual exists for a reason. We wrote it for a reason. If you follow it, they work fine. The real tragedy is that this could have been averted. Had the Foundation been willing to let one of our DLS technicians on board the Sommerfeld, I'm certain they could have correctly deployed the SRAs. Had the Foundation paid for, had you been willing to take your time and let our technicians just train your employees, or even read our manual, I'm sure we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Professor Zora Shetter, a paraphysicist who left the Foundation to work for DLS as a consultant, corroborated Daniel DeVorn's claims.
I'll never understand the resistance to SRAs. Never. We have this wonderful little device, this wonderful miracle that can reduce even the fiercest of reality benders to a purring kitten. Previously, the only bottleneck was their prohibitive production cost and maintenance requirements. But now, they're cheap, self-correcting, and 100 times more potent. I've worked with them for decades. They've saved my life more times than I can count. If I asked for a show of hands right now, right here in this room, of how many of you have been saved by an SRA, I'd be shocked if I saw a single hand down. I really would. What happened to the SS Sommerfeld was terrible. My heart goes out to the victims. It really does. But our SRAs have been tested time and time again. We can account for everything. Everything except human error.
One voice of dissent came from Professor Sherman Savory, a Foundation paraphysicist with a reputation for expressing skepticism toward SRAs.
Alright, for starters, they don't have a flawless track record. That's a load of bupkis. They're a pretty spotty one, actually, at best. Half the time, we can't even tell if they failed, because when they do, reality gets rewritten. SRAs treat reality bending as a morphogenic field. They presume that these fields can be corrected and that you can unbend reality and revert the anomalous to a non-anomalous state. In short, SRAs presume anomalies fit into a larger system, a system we can understand and can control. But what makes something anomalous? By its very definition, it's something that doesn't fit, something you can't control. We think we found a way to suppress reality bending, but all we've really found is a type of reality bending that's strong enough to overcome others. The SRA is a tiger that we use to tame other tigers. We think we domesticated it. We think it's our pet. But a pet tiger is still a tiger. You can cage it, train it, teach it cute tricks, but it's still a tiger. It still has claws. It still has fangs. And we've surrounded ourselves with them. God help us if they ever go feral.
Addendum 3241.3 Loss and recovery of the IRV Silent Spring. On August 12, 2015, contact was lost with the IRV Silent Spring. The vessel had been performing an oceanographic survey on behalf of Odo Island's fishing industry to determine the cause behind a recent and dramatic change in the behavior of Quincoriadata, Japanese amberjack or yellowtail. Initial attempts to locate the ship failed. Its transponder was non-responsive or otherwise outside of effective transmission range. 3 days later, Kansai International Airport intercepted a distress signal from the IRV Silent Springs EPIRB. After several failed attempts to establish communication, Japanese authorities deployed the ERRV Koyo Maru to investigate. This effort was abandoned when an onboard radiometric sensor, installed in the wake of the 2012 Fukushima Daiichi disaster, detected small but significant levels of ionizing radiation from the vessel. Japanese authorities then contacted the Foundation, who mobilized MTF Theta 5, the bigger boat, alongside Beta 7, Maz Hatters, to take the IRV Silent Spring into custody. Miguel Quinos, the acting CEO of MTF Beta 7 at the time, described his experience with the vessel during the 2018 inquest.
So, when the JMSDF called us, we figured it was just old man Jenkins up to no good. Happens a lot. Some freshly promoted bureaucrat panics or tries to pass their disaster off on us. We even had a few cases where someone tries to make a perfectly ordinary problem look anomalous. This one time, I heard a guy even... Right. Sorry. Anyway, we were pretty sure we'd be finding a dead whale tangled up in a buoy or something. We still followed procedure, though. Complacency is what gets people killed. You learn that lesson on day one. Came at it upwind to minimize exposure. It's a good thing, too. The stink alone could have dropped us all. It definitely wasn't a whale. But it didn't look like a boat either. It looked like a giant blob of rotting meat. A spongy, floating meat slab. Snoopy 8 picked up some static, but not a lot. We still took every precaution. We took a few extra ones just to be sure. We didn't have any clue what we were looking at. We didn't even know there were, people? We didn't know there was, anybody in there. We just hooked it up and hauled it away. Figured the lab coats would sort it all out.
Hey everyone, it's Pacific. I want to tell you a bit about our sponsor, Shudder. You can stream great thrillers, horror, and supernatural content for $5.99 a month or $56.99 a year. Shudder has the largest, fastest growing human curated selection of thrilling and dangerous entertainment. It's like the Netflix for horror. And Shudder features the best movie, One Cut of the Dead, and best horror movie of 2019, Tigers Are Not Afraid, according to Rotten Tomato. You'll have unlimited access to stream ad-free on all your favorite devices, whether it's your iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, Xbox One, Amazon Fire TV, Google Chromecast, Roku, or Android devices. And most importantly, Shudder has a unique collection of exclusive and original films and series, horror classics, and blockbuster hits, including the hit Creepshow TV series, produced by Greg Nicotero of The Walking Dead. Fans familiar with the show know that I am absolutely obsessed with Shudder, and especially given recent events, I've been binging a lot of creepy shows on Shudder. Right now, I'm rewatching all of Creepshow. I've talked about it before. It is still, I think, probably one of my favorite new shows on Shudder. I did finally check out Tigers Are Not Afraid, and oh my god, I can't believe I waited so long to watch it. I don't want to spoil it, but please, if you love horror, check it out. And if this sounds good, then you can get started streaming the best horror, thriller, and supernatural content, like Tigers Are Not Afraid, One Cut of the Dead, Revenge, and the acclaimed Creepshow TV series. To try Shudder free for 30 days, go to shudder.com and use promo code SCP. That's Shudder, SHUDDER.com, and use promo code SCP.
The IRV Silent Spring was transported to a temporary provincial site for containment and evaluation. Researchers soon discovered it previously hosted a colony of over 300 unidentified species of microorganisms. Despite this microbiome's incredible complexity and interdependent functionality, a mass extinction event had occurred prior to recovery. The vessel's exterior was sheathed in an expired colony of microscopic arthropods. Hollow calcium carbonate nodules extruded from the ship's surface at multiple points. Endoscopic and sonographic surveys determined that they extended through the hull as part of a rudimentary respiratory system. Large internal cavities of elastic tissue could expand and contract to regulate airflow. Upon dissection, researchers discovered that the vessel's interior topography was connected by a complex vascular system of thin, flexible tubing responsible for the circulation of nutrients and expulsion of effluent. These tubes extended into the IRV Silent Springs crew. Each crew member's central nervous system had been partially extricated and fused into a singular neural mass incorporated into the vascular system, which supplied the brain tissue with glucose and oxygen. The purpose or function of this congealed neural mass could not be determined. The module contained in the IRV Silent Springs EPIRB and VDR, Voyage Data Recorder, was found intact. The microbiome had failed to penetrate its exterior shell. However, repeated exposure to iodizing radiation had corrupted the device's internal memory, rendering it irrecoverable. While retracing the IRV Silent Springs' initial route, the Foundation-operated submarine, the SCP Stravinsky, encountered a cargo vessel adrift 200 kilometers west of Odo Island, Japan. This ship had no AIS, automatic identification system, did not respond to hails, and emitted significant levels of iodizing radiation. The SCP Stravinsky launched a Panopticon-class surveillance drone toward the vessel. Prior to an unexplained mechanical failure, digital imagery from the drone confirmed the ship's markings as a match for the SS Summerfield. Addendum 3241.4. Initial response. On October 26, SARC was assembled to assess the extent of the SS Summerfield's threat and develop an effective containment strategy for it. Brian Browning, the veteran Foundation field agent and Site 97's former site director, was assigned as a containment director. Close observation of the SS Summerfield was all but impossible on account of its unperceptible properties. Surveillance drones sent into its area of effect experienced numerous mechanical failures. In order to acquire more data, Director Browning requisitioned several SARs from DLS and ordered them mounted inside the SCP Stravinsky. The submarine was to approach SCP-3241 under the cover of a morphogenetic field and attempt to retrieve its VDR. Several members of the SCP-F Stravinsky's crew refused Director Browning's orders. This group included the vessel's executive officer, Leslie Horton. She explained her decision in 2018.
Browning painted us as a bunch of traitors attempting a coup. But anyone with one fucking iota of military experience will tell you, there is a world of difference between open fire and walk up to the enemy and tweak his nose while this magic box protects you. Besides, this wasn't a military operation. There was no immediate threat. We had every right to stop work over safety concerns, and that's precisely what we did. Professor Bakshi was the reason why, though. Bakshi had experience with SRAs, real experience, and he didn't trust them. He told Browning that his plan would put us at risk. When Browning told him to piss off, Bakshi came to us directly. He explained these things, the SRAs he told us about. They were unreliable. Described it like trying to put out a fire with a flamethrower. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you just burn the whole goddamn neighborhood down. Convinced me, at least. Browning was furious. Kept ranting about how Bakshi didn't know the first thing about fieldwork or paratech. He said that if Bakshi didn't have the stomach for this sort of thing, that he ought to, I think his exact words were, go apply for a job managing a 7-Eleven? Then he said some other things that I won't repeat here. But in the end, Bakshi wouldn't back down, and neither would we.
A compromise was reached on November 5th. One SRA was to be mounted to a USV, unmanned surface vessel, capable of sustaining its weight and supplying it with power. A representative from DLS arrived as an SRA consultant and to provide technical support. Shortly after entering SCP-3241's area of effect, the USV ceased to respond to remote commands. The vessel operated autonomously for 2 kilometers before experiencing a catastrophic mechanical failure and sinking along with the mounted SRA. As this was significantly further than what previous drones had achieved, the DLS representative claimed that the SRA had worked. Furthermore, he claimed that control over the drone had likely been lost on account of the SRA's morphogenetic field not being wide enough to prevent anomalous disruptions of the incoming radio transmissions. He concluded that a network of overlapping SRAs combined with manual adjustments made by a licensed SRA operator would be more than sufficient to overcome any of SCP-3241's anomalous effects. Director Browning agreed with this assessment. He again ordered the crew of the SCP-F Stravinsky to mount SRAs into their vessel and proceed into SCP-3241's area of effect, with Professor Bakshi, the only licensed SRA operator present at the time, on hand to make adjustments as required. Again, several members of SCP-F Stravinsky's crew refused. Director Browning then ordered 3 of the 5 remaining SRAs to be mounted on the SCP-F Beagle 3, a small 4-man patrol boat, and assembled a team to personally accompany him on SCP-3241's area of effect. When Professor Bakshi refused to accommodate Director Browning, he asked a DLS representative to fill Professor Bakshi's role instead. In 2018, Professor Gambhir Bakshi gave the following testimony regarding Director Browning's request for the DLS representative to operate the SRA.
Raymond Asakawa, a technician from DLS. That was his name. He was young, very young. Very bright, too. I found out later that he was studying to be a computer scientist. He just worked this job to pay tuition. I don't think he... No. I know he didn't intend to mislead anyone. He just trusted his training. He trusted the SRA manual. All his answers to Director Browning's questions came straight out of that manual. He must have memorized it. Director Browning ate it up, patted the young man on the back, Asked him all about Hume levels, Kant counters, questions he knew Mr. Asakawa could answer. Building up his confidence, making him feel like an expert, like part of the team. Then, when Director Browning asked me to accompany him, he knew I would say no. He knew. He turned to Mr. Asakawa, and that's when I realized what was going on. Why he'd been treating this young man so nicely. He was playing him. He turned to Asakawa and he said, he asked if he could, he asked him to shit, sorry, I'm sorry. I don't usually. I need a moment. Just give me a moment. It's been a long time since I've talked about. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm all right now. Sorry. Sorry for cussing. He looked so scared right then. Mr. Asakawa, I mean. I think he was starting to realize that there was a very real danger here. But then Browning said something. I don't even remember what. Something about how back in his day they didn't have SRAs. How they could have saved so many lives back then. How important Asakawa's work was. Something like that. Then Asakawa smiled and he was looking at me before. When he was scared, he was looking straight at me. Like he was expecting me to save him. I could have saved him. I could have said no. I could have said absolutely not. I could have pulled that boy off that boat and told that fat, racist fuck to go fuck himself. But I didn't. I was so angry at him. Browning put his pride before all our lives. I wanted him to be punished. He deserved to be punished. And that's why Raymond Asakawa is dead. He asked me to save him, and I didn't. Because I was angry. I'm not sorry that Browning is dead. Fuck him. He deserved worse. But I am sorry about Raymond Asakawa. A day doesn't go by that I'm not sorry about Raymond Asakawa. I let that happen. I let that young man die. It should have been me on that boat. I'm sorry. Fuck, I'm sorry. God. I'm so sorry.
Director Browning boarded the SCP-F Beagle 3 with his team and approached SCP-3241, one of the 4 team members. Only Jackson Vokola, a veteran containment specialist, survived.
We were about half a kilometer in when I realized something was wrong. It was like this low keening noise behind me, like something was off with the engines. I started thinking about what I'd do if they went belly up. Couldn't risk swimming for it. Then I remembered the tow line. They could reel us back. That relaxed me a little. But that sound just kept getting louder and louder. Something felt off about it. Too shrill. Not mechanical enough. I finally turned around and... yeah. Wasn't the engines. It was the kid. The one DLS sent us. He'd been screaming for a while now. It wasn't hard to see why. What surprised me was that he could scream. Big chunks of him had turned into glass. You could see straight inside him, like somebody installed a bunch of windows all over his body. There was this web of veins that wove through his guts, like pink silk ribbons. When he moved, it made this horrible noise, crackling and popping, like somebody grinding their heel down into a sack of light bulbs. The glass started splintering. Jagged lines shot through him and bit into his innards. Blood trickled along the cracks, then dribbled out of him, real slow. Sanchez had turned inside out. Didn't seem to mind. I think he even winked at me. And Browning, I'm not positive, but it looked like his bones were evaporating. His body was collapsing into a heap of loose, folded skin, like a pile of dirty laundry. This foul-smelling yellow smoke kept pouring out of all his holes. I think the engines croaked at some point. The last thing I remember was them hauling us back as fast as they could. That's when I passed out from the pain. When I woke up a few weeks later, they told me Sanchez and Browning were DOA. The kid took about 20 minutes to finally shatter and bleed out. As for me, got pretty lucky. Only lost 3 limbs and half my intestinal tract. Look, Browning was a son of a bitch, I'll give you that. He and I joined the Foundation during the glory days. We did things differently back then. And when the times started changing, he couldn't change with them. He was my friend, yeah. He was also a shitty human being, I know that. I've always known that. But for all his faults, he's not the reason I now drink my meals through a tube and shit them into a bag. I don't blame the kid either. He wouldn't have come along for the ride if he didn't swallow this SRA horseshit just like the rest of us. And I sure as fuck don't blame Gambhir Bakshi. As far as I'm concerned, that man is a goddamn saint. But Daniel DeVorn, I swear to God, if I ever lay eyes on that man, I will crawl out of this wheelchair and rip his fucking throat out with my bare teeth. It didn't do a goddamn thing. You hear me? Not a goddamn thing. If anything, it made things worse. None of the drones flipped inside out. None of them evaporated into smoke. None of them turned into fucking glass. No, they all just broke. It wasn't until we tried using his shitty products to contain his shitty boat that I ended up in this shitty chair. Wherever you are, Mr. DeVorn, you gotta get down on your knees and thank God Almighty that the Foundation has changed. Because back in my day, this story wouldn't end with some sort of fucking inquiry. It would end with you in an orange jumpsuit thrown into the deepest, darkest hole we could find. It would end with us laughing while we sipped ice-cold beers and made bets on how long it'd be before all your monsters got tired of your screams.
Addendum 3241.5. Recovered emails. On January 3rd, 2018, an anonymous source provided the Foundation with several terabytes of data taken from DLS's internet. This data included numerous email exchanges between Daniel DeVorn and his staff in regards to the installation of the emergency SRA system in the SS Summerfield.
Date: 16/4/1995. Subject: regarding emergency SRA system. From Simon Chaclose to Daniel.DeVorn. You can argue that correlation does not equal causation until you're blue in the face, Dan. But the correlation is one-to-one across the board for over 10 years. And even if it didn't correlate, it doesn't change the fact every anchor out there, including the ones that have been in service for decades, are experiencing failure events with increasing regularity. Every new SRA we put into service increases the risk of another SRA failing. Right now, we're accounting for these increases in failure rate via an automated correction system. When one unit fails, 2 can adjust their morphic fields and suppress the faculty unit before it goes critical. We schedule monthly preventative maintenance to check for faulty units and quietly swap them out for ones that won't turn your skin into acid or whatever. But that's just it. You need at least 2 clean units to stop a failed unit from going critical, which is why an emergency system with only 4 SRAs just isn't going to cut it anymore. That setup would have worked 20 years ago, sure, back when a single unit failure was a rare occurrence. But now, multiple units in a set fail all the time. And if 2 out of 4 fail, the other 2 won't be able to hold them back. They'll go critical. Have you ever seen a Scranton reality anchor go critical? I have. Words like biblical come to mind. If you want this ship to be safe, you'll need 18, at least 15 units. That will keep them out of the danger zone. That makes the chances of a critical event all but impossible. Install just 1 unit less, and you'll be putting everyone on board in harm's way.
Following a review of these emails, Foundation investigators concluded that the loss of the SS Summerfield likely occurred as a result of a critical failure with its 6 onboard SRAs. Furthermore, investigators went on to link over 20 separate containment breaches to similar critical SRA failures. This led to the 2018 inquiry into the loss of the SS Summerfield and the Foundation's ongoing reliance on SRAs for the containment of ontokineticists. 2 weeks prior to the start of the inquiry, Daniel DeVorn escaped Foundation custody. Efforts to locate him are underway.
SCP-3241 was written by The Great Hippo. Our host and narrator was John Grills. Daniel DeVorn was played by Pacific S. Obadiah. Zora Cheddar was played by Addison Peacock. Sherman Savory was played by Jesse Hall. Miguel Quinones was played by Tony DeLappe. Leslie Horton was played by Danielle Gracie. Professor Bakshi was played by Karim Kronfi. Jackson Kovola was played by Graham Rowett. And Simon Chekloz was played by James Oliva. Our composer is the incredible Tom Rory Parsons. I'm your showrunner and sound designer, Pacific S. Obadiah, and our producer is Tom Owen. This is a bloody, disgusting show. For more information, visit bloody-disgusting.com. I'm excited to announce a new way for you to support the SCP Archives. We've partnered with ACAST to allow fans to make a one-time donation of any amount. And when you donate, you can also leave us a message, and we'll read it on air for you. So whether you're giving a friend a happy birthday shout-out, or just want to say hi, you can find a link to donate in our show notes right now. Hey everyone, it's Pacific. A few quick things to talk about, and then this week's episode. First, SCP Archives for now is going to continue as usual. Second, if you're spending a little more time at home right now, we have a few additional things for you to do. The first is come join us on Discord. I'm there most days chatting and whatnot. And throughout this week and next week, we'll be hosting some voice chats so you can kind of talk to people, socialize. I'll also be hosting a live listen to of some of our older and newer episodes, as well as doing some live streams. This week, I am planning on doing a live stream about graphic design. You guys can tune in and watch as I design a postcard and some stuff like that. I'll also be doing some video game live streams later this week. All this information and much more on our Patreon and our Facebook and our Twitter. So if you want to keep up to date, please check those places. We also have a calendar on our website, scparchives.com, and there you can go and find all the times and locations for live streams and chats and listen tos and things like that. So yeah, like I said, if you're stuck at home a bunch this week and next week, please join us, and we'd love to hear you and say hi. Yeah, that's about it. And with that out of the way, shout outs. This week I want to give a big shout out to Elena Black, Demon Child 95, Kirian Hamill, and Rai Sudo. Thanks, guys. Your support means the world. And if you're interested in hearing your name at the beginning of the show, getting access to some bonus episodes, which are starting to come out pretty soon, and even ad-free versions of this episode, make sure you find us at patreon.com/SCP_POD. Thanks. Enjoy the episode.
Warning. The Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized access will result in detainment. Within this archive, you'll find the procedures, descriptions, and accounts of the most notorious anomalies we've encountered to date. Secure, contain, protect.
Item number SCP-2432. Object Class Safe Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. All business and travel websites with listings for the Abaddon Hotel are to be monitored for reviews displaying memetric triggers by Foundation-operated web analysis bot Gamma 9, Bates Motel, which will scan for a list of memetric textual triggers and remove the reviews with the cooperation of the hosting sites. Only staff members with Level 3 memetric hazard training are to have access to these texts. SCP-2432-1 is to be kept in storage in a small sealed plastic box to prevent biohazard contamination. As of 15, sufficient data has been produced such that no more testing with SCP-2432-1 is required, and is to be kept in storage permanently. The Abaddon Hotel has been purchased by Foundation Front Company, Graduate Hotels, and no non-Foundation personnel are to enter SCP-2432, except appointed hotel cleaning staff. 1D class is to check into and sleep in SCP-2432 once every month. They are then to be isolated with one computer. This computer is only to have access to a private Foundation database, made to resemble popular business review sites. The content generated by the D-Class are to be placed in a secure file accessible via the documentation containing all text generated in conjunction with SCP-2432. Update 2/12/19. No personnel are to sleep in SCP-2432 under any circumstances. All surviving personnel are to be immediately quarantined until 1/8/20. Under protocol amenity, all civilians who have had contact with SCP-2432 before contamination are to be contacted, monitored, and quarantined until 1/8/20. All non-essential testing is to cease. Upgrade to Keto pending. Description: SCP-2432 is room 710 of the Abaddon Hotel in State College, Pennsylvania. SCP-2432 is similar to most rooms within the Abaddon Hotel. The 2 queen-size beds, closet, television, and bathroom. All anonymous elements in and of themselves. The interior of SCP-2432's walls are lined with a silver metallic woven aramid that is extremely tough, with a tensile strength of close to 4,003 MPa. No other walls in the Abaddon Hotel have been shown to contain this aramid. SCP-2432's construction is designed in a way to induce a mind-altering effect on a guest, hereafter designated subject, who sleeps overnight in SCP-2432. The walls of SCP-2432 can generate an oscillation that manipulates human brain waves through an unknown process. This oscillation places subjects sleeping in SCP-2432 into a trance. Upon leaving, subjects are compelled to write a review of the Abaddon Hotel on a popular traveler business review site. The subject's experience will often be highly exaggerated, with praise for the various services and amenities provided by SCP-2432. Reviews will often be written in incoherent language, with frequent nonsensical or cryptic sentences. Subjects describe having no memory of writing each review. The reviews generated by subjects have a minor textual and memetic property of varying strength. Any individual who reads a generated review will feel a desire to travel to State College and book SCP-2432 for an overnight stay. The most powerful memetic triggers have caused a 62% increase in the bookings at the Abaddon Hotel. Amendment 2432-1. The following are examples of reviews generated by subjects on various travel and business review sites. Examples chosen have been shown to have little to no memetic hazard associated with them. All triggers have been censored. Subject's username: I am.
Another great stay at this fabulous hotel. Room was perfect, the staff friendly, as always. And of course, no better location than on the plain of many hives. I've enjoyed a drink at the friendly bar. This time, I added a wonderful escape, and the breakfast was cold and the breakfast was warm. Another great stay in this hotel. The restaurant has a lovely ambiance, and the food was over the top, alive and kicking. Woo! Would stifle again. My husband eats it often, and I felt that this was the best one ever. Another great stay in this fabulous hotel. One more great item to add to the add-on. Another great stay in this fabulous hotel. Stayed July 1999. Traveled with 3 family members.
Subject's username: B. Posted to www.yelp.com. Text:
We sailed on our boat into the State College from outside State College, through the night and the cold, and arrived at 8 a.m. at State College. The hotel desk staff allowed us to check in at 8 a.m. in the evening. Awesome. Customer service. We cannot thank you enough for allowing us to check in so early in the State College, earlier than war. The rest of the stay was fine. We spent almost all our time in the room, mostly just to sleep. The location is ultra convenient. It was downtown State College, and allowed me to make a midnight run for some of my favorite State College meats, while the favorite family was sleeping at State College. Downtown.
Trigger redacted.
Downtown.
Subject's username: M. Posted to tripadvisor.com. Text:
Been coming to this region for 14 stone. What a blast. Scores of human wandering the streets and staffing the hotel. My husband and I walked drooling path to get here. Bed in room 710 was soft and cozy and appreciated the decor. Would recommend the bed and specifically the bed and specifically the bed and specifically the bed.
Trigger redacted.
In the pool, and it was lovely, crisp blue hydrogen, and you could see all the people relax into the meandering menace. Towels slightly dirty, gym was full of usable equipment, and the local wildlife was remarkable. I visited the town in the past and have never seen so many puma being feasted on.
Trigger redacted.
And the toucan men were especially numerous today. Arrived July 2019.
SCP-2432-1 is a small organic nodule resembling a boil, located on the back of the otherwise normal LG brand HD flat-screen television located in SCP-2432. Samples from the fluid inside show a mixture of human, rockfish, and unidentified porcine DNA. This nodule is stuck to the television with an adhesive mucus it generates, though it can be removed safely and easily. When SCP-2432-1 is placed on the back of SCP-2432's television, in addition to the standard extended satellite channel package found in other televisions throughout the Abaddon Hotel, an additional television channel labeled as Room News is accessible. No other television throughout the Abaddon Hotel or any television brought into SCP-2432 has access to Room News, aside from the room's original. Room News can only be accessed by placing SCP-2432-1 on SCP-2432's television. Attaching SCP-2432-1 to any other television set yields no effect. The nature of the relationship between the set, SCP-2432-1, and SCP-2432 is unknown. Apparent programming on Room News consists of one 24-hour untitled show. The content of this show is a single still photograph of a pastoral lake scene with a sailboat, while a Muzak version of the dance song Since I Left You by the Avalanche as plays on repeat. Once every 3 days, the audio is interrupted while an unidentified male voice with a British accent reads a dramatic monologue addressed to the viewer. Content of the monologue is similar to reviews generated by subjects and deal with exaggerated praise for the hotel, its amenities, and the lifestyle of staying in hotels. The monologue, unlike the reviews, is coherent and contains no memetic triggers. although 13% of subjects who viewed the monologue under controlled conditions described feeling mildly disturbed or discomforted. If SCP-2432-1 has been removed, placing it back on SCP-2432's television will immediately begin broadcast of a monologue. The cycle will then begin again, with the next monologue broadcasting 3 days later if not removed. SCP-2432 first appeared on 6/7/99, when the Abaddon Hotel first switched from cable to satellite television. Before this, hotel administration had no record of Room 710 existing. Monologue recorded during test with SCP-2432-1 on 3/21/14.
Let me describe something to you. This is a true story. It really happened to me, and it could happen to you. Every day, you wake up, you go to your job, and there's just something off about your boss. He's weird and clingy and strange. Your coworkers are nice enough, but they don't communicate. They're quiet and out of it and absorbed in their own little worlds, and you are ignored. Not because you are ugly or awkward or rude, but because you are there. And you suspect things about your coworkers. They just appear to have sex in the bathroom for long periods of time and keep surfing social media all day, every day, despite their strange habits and the strange things each of them places on their Twitter pages. They seem to be doing so much better than you. How are you falling behind? And you should love the job. It's your passion. Most would die to be doing a job that they are passionate about. You really should, but can't. Wonder becoming routine and becoming drudgery, and it's a day in, day out, and you struggle to maintain your soul. This is not what should happen. Should. It's such a tormenting word. A thinking trap. Should. Your life is ruled by shoulds. You come home in your beat-up old car along with the same boring street in your town. Everything is along that main drag, and you cannot really go elsewhere. Everything is overcast, and the pedestrians are idiots, and the drivers are too. You get home, and you have a million billion projects to accomplish. You should compete in the rat race, but you're bone tired. You promised your grandmother you should text her, because she's going through chemo, and she's only just figured out that texting because she's getting old and having a hard time adjusting, and it's so painful for her, and you should be there, but the job is so demanding. You have thousands of books. You should be reading. You have millions of projects you should complete. A podcast to start. Rent on your tiny apartment is due, and the dishes are piling up high and dirty in the sink. You barely have enough money for pizza as you lie in your boxers on your greasy 10-year-old couch that you got from an IKEA in Fishkill, New York that was closed a year ago. You remember your mom taking you there as a kid, then she left. Now you sit fat and scared in your underpants as you shovel food into your face and you masturbate to porn. But you also binge watch some idiotic sitcom on TV because you have no attention span for either one on their own, and deep inside, beneath the boredom and the half-wanted orgasms, the nauseating feeling of horrible junk food, you feel a deep, growling anxiety and feeling of watching your life burn around you as you try to succeed for something great, to make your mark on society, but you cannot bring yourself to do so despite your convictions. The dread is horrible. It's all crumbling apart. The parade is passing by, and you are helpless, immobile in your state, like a great boulder made of disappointment, regret, depression, malaise. There is nothing for you here. You need to leave this place. You have a choice. Get your good clean shirt and your smart pants and announce that you are taking a break. Don't even pack. Don't even bring your phone. One simple call to the office and get on your way. Take the old beat-up car from the garage underneath your apartment complex. Give your cat the last of his food and some water. And hit the road. Leave the town and your ex and the promises you made and your job and your grandmother and your responsibilities and your worry. What I'd recommend to you is simple. Find a hotel. Not a motel or something shabby, a hotel. Even a chain will do. Hotels are surprisingly remarkable, aren't they? Clean and elegant, all modernistic and designed to appeal to the eye. You don't need to care about a thing in the world. Food is provided, they clean up after you, and you can feel like you have some luxury for once.
Most even have pools and fitness centers where you can finally get in shape and pick your life back up. It's a chance to step back and regroup. Take a look at the customers around you. Travelers most. Strange people. Interesting people. People you won't ever see again. Travel is so romantic. So mysterious. My, what stories these people probably have. And the staff, and also so attentive in their smart little uniforms. Don't listen to the naysayers. These people all love their jobs. You know they do. The room is amazing. The wallpaper, elegant, and the paintings make you feel at ease. There are clean towels every day, and the bed is freshly made. You can escape the oncoming storm outside, the thunder crashing down on the roof like ball bearings. You could live your whole life in this place. Enjoy the sugary cereals at the breakfast buffet. Get a loyalty card and pay no money. Travel really changes a man. Relaxes him. Shapes him into a better person. You become a better person by staying in a hotel. Strong, social, a proper soldier. You adapt to the hotel mindset. Enjoy the soft music and eat that fresh waffle. Grab a beer in the evening with your fellow transients from the attached sports bar. Relax and watch that old showing of that superhero movie on your TV. Live here forever. Enjoy the hotel. Become the hotel. Never leave. Why would you want to leave? Even when you do walk out those pristine glass sliding doors, you are empty. The hotel is in your soul now, and you feel a worse person walking away from it. You feel yourself slipping back into the gray life. A black hole is in your heart. Your soul is the hotel. Your consciousness is the hotel. You are now one with your accommodation. You are now one with your accommodations. Your accommodations are your life. Ascend. Isn't that lovely?
Addendum. On 7/14/18, D-3456, who had participated in sleep studies involving SCP-2432, contracted an unknown illness while working with SCP, initially ruled to be related to SCP. He was placed in quarantine. During examination, medical officers found a small television-like screen made of bone tissue growing in his stomach. An unknown skin disease was also observed, with purple floral patterned rashes covering his body. Other symptoms gradually emerged, including extreme weight gain, glossolalia, the slow conversion of the lower intestine to porcelain pipes, the conversion of liver to a pillow, and the replacement of all subcutaneous muscle with the aramid found in SCP-2432. Subject was extremely delirious during this period, could frequently repeat the words ascending and relaxing. Subject expired 30 days after initial observation, as symptoms continued and increased in speed. Subject's body shape became a rough cube as weight gain increased, and glossolalia began to resemble television static. Corpse was incinerated. Within the next 30 days, 5 more D-Class and 1 researcher who were involved with testing SCP-2432 developed similar symptoms and were immediately quarantined. The disease was ruled as to be connected to SCP-2432. All testing ceased.
SCP-2432 was written by Lord Stonefish. Our narrator and host is John Grills. Reviewer was played by Pacific S. Obadiah. Our music is made by the incredible Tom Roy Parsons. And I'm your showrunner and sound designer, Pacific S. Obadiah. Our producer is Tom Owen, and this is a bloody disgusting show. For more information, visit bloody-disgusting.com. I'm excited to announce a new way for you to support the SCP Archives. We've partnered with ACAST to allow fans to make a one-time donation of any amount. And when you donate, you can also leave us a message, and we'll read it on air for you. So whether you're giving a friend a happy birthday shout out, or just want to say hi, you can find a link to donate in our show notes right now. Hey everyone, it's Pacific. Just a few quick notes and this week's episode. First, we have a Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com/SCP_POD. There you can get access to bonus episodes, postcards, t-shirts, a mug, a poster, a lot of cool, really crazy things. We're currently redesigning our poster and our mug and our sticker, so we'll have 3 new designs for those coming out very soon, as well as a sneak peek at some of the few designs for our next postcard. Those will be going up probably later this week or next week, and if you're a patron, you can vote on which postcard you'd like to receive. Just a reminder, we're changing up our postcard system. Instead of doing it every month, now we're doing it once every 3 months. So if you are a patron between April 1st and April 30th, you will get a postcard. Just make sure you sign up by the 30th, because we're sending them out May 1st. But you can learn about all that and more on our Patreon, or by visiting us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, or even checking out our website, scparchives.com. And that is archives with an S. And without further ado, this week's patrons. I want to give a big shout out to Corey Hodge, Cassie Parker, PJ, John Lamonday, Josiah Flores, Sean Minogue, Nick, Dean Pioquidio, Megan Jasper, Josh Decker, Raymond Polillo, Matt Hernandez, John, Julia Becerro, and Hayden Kupka. Thanks guys, your support means the world and keeps the show running. And without further ado, SCP-2316.
Warning. The Foundation database is classified. Unauthorized access will result in detainment. Within this archive, you'll find the procedures, descriptions, and accounts of the most notorious anomalies we've encountered to date. Secure, contain, protect.
Item number SCP-2316. Containment class Keter. This file is a level 4 secret. Cognitohazard warning. The following file contains images and text that are carriers for anomalous cognitohazardous influences. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Note this. It is imperative that all personnel accessing this file be certified as having a cognitive resistance value, CRV, of no less than 14.5. Should you fail an automated CRV verification, please remain calm and do not move. A member of your site's medical staff will be with you shortly. To continue, please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Special containment procedures. Under no circumstances are Foundation personnel to approach SCP-2316. Observation of SCP-2316 must be only carried out by remote dummy probes utilizing video and audio recording equipment. Only those personnel adequately rated for exposure to cognitohazardous anomalies may review footage and audio of SCP-2316. The lake in which SCP-2316 is located has been quarantined and fenced off, and is to be routinely patrolled by individuals who have not been exposed to SCP-2316 and have no prior knowledge of its characteristics. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. Individuals who attempt to bypass the enforced quarantine must be apprehended and moved to Site-33 for full cognitive influence screening. Individuals who come within 50 meters of the lake containing SCP-2316 are to be considered lost. To continue, please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Description. SCP-2316 is a designation for an anomalous phenomenon existing within County. SCP-2316 manifests as a group of human corpses floating in a small group at the surface of the water. The identities of these corpses are... though DNA testing has been inconclusive. While SCP-2316 appears to be individual instances, it is theorized that SCP-2316 may instead be an entity composed of a collective consciousness. Individual instances of SCP-2316 do not act on their own, but do seem to be able to act collectively as a single unit. The individual instances of SCP-2316 are unrecognizable, and you do not recognize the bodies in the water. SCP-2316 hosts a powerful cognitohazardous effect, causing those who have viewed SCP-2316, are aware of certain parts of its nature, or who are enrolled in the... to believe that the individual instances of SCP-2316 are human beings they recognize, typically from their childhood. Attempting to come into contact with SCP-2316 instances by way of entering lake or touching an instance of SCP-2316 will cause other instances of SCP-2316 to appear. You do not recognize the bodies in the water. The individual instances only serve to reinforce and add strength to the cognitohazard, compelling affected individuals into the lake. Individuals who enter the lake in this way are lost, and to date none have been recovered. Addendum 2316.1. Interview between Dr. Harrison and Oscar Spielman. Begin log.
Did you ever feel compelled to enter the water, like something was pulling you in?
What? No, of course not. There's nothing wrong with them. They didn't drag me in. I saw them in the water, and I went in myself. I needed to see them. I wanted to hear what they were saying. They're my friends.
When you entered the water, what did you see?
Faces. My friends. Faces I recognized. Some I didn't, but they became more familiar as I saw them. I'd known them my whole life, but there was something wrong with them.
Wrong with them?
Like the faces you see in a dream, when you can't remember it right. There's something wrong, and the way they were speaking, they...
Speaking? No, that's impossible. They're simply not...
Not moving their mouths, no. But I could hear them asking for my help. They told me who they were. They told me you knew who they were. That you...
Enough of that. You're clearly succumbing to the cognitohazard. We need to get you medical attention. Agent, if you would.
Get your hands off of me. I know all of their names, Harrison. I heard them speaking to me. Every single one. Well, all it takes is one person to see them and tell people. And they'll know. They'll know what you've been trying to hide. Birchwood High School.
Subdue them. Get them out of here. Take them to amnestics and turn that goddamn recorder off.
End log. To continue, please repeat the following phrase slowly and clearly into your terminal microphone. I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
I do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Addendum 2316.2. Invalid entry.
You don't have a lot of time. You'll need to get away quickly. Go back to the lake. Go into the water. Look into their eyes. It's your friends, your classmates. You took the trip to the lake in the fall of '75 together when you were young. Don't you remember? Look into their eyes. I know you can hear them talking to you, just like they talk to me. Don't let them tell you it's just a cognitohazard. This was their fault. They caused this. We were all innocent kids, don't you remember? And you just got away. You and I. The rest of them are at the bottom of the lake, waiting for us to go back to them and be whole together again. They want us to know. They want us to remember. Wake up, goddammit. Remember the fall of '75, the year we were supposed to graduate. Don't let them make you forget. They're calling to you. Can't you hear them? Can't you hear them? Can't you hear them? Can't you hear them? I know you can. Can't you hear them? They're waiting for you.
The old water tower on the outskirts of this shitheel town has been derelict for ages. It's amazing they haven't torn the damn thing down yet. I reach up for the next rung, which groans in response to the unexpected weight before snapping off entirely. I managed to catch myself at the last second, but my GoPro isn't so lucky. It makes a soft plop in the snow below. There goes my perfect fucking selfie. It was a close call, though. I take a second to catch my breath before I steel my nerves and continue my ascent. Can't turn back now. Stick to the plan. You're going to be remembered for this. I clamber onto the platform, and I'm greeted with an oversized grin, the rival school's idiotic mascot. Its face is weathered and peeling. Good thing he's about to get a brand new paint job. Now all I need to do is decide exactly how best to deface the baby angel. Perhaps some good old devilish imagery? Time to get to work. A horn here and there, a curly mustache. Oh, and a pitchfork. Pink? The fuck did I think I was going to do with pink paint? Alright, a little bit more and done. I stand back and admire my creation in all its glory. In just a few hours, people will wake up to their beloved angel turned into the town's devil. Now all I need to do is snap some pics for the guys to prove that, yes, I am that fucking badass. I whip out my cell and get to work, lamenting the fact that I can't post these online. It's as good a time as any for a smoke. I spark one and look out over the woods that surround the town. Last night's snowfall blanketed the landscape, leaving a pristine coat of white